Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome along to this evening's stream. I think I finally figured out how to advertise it in advance. So thank you, everybody. If you are already in the feed, make yourself known and we will get through our business. We're going to look at all of this weekend's championship action. 4 games to go for all bar 4 of the teams, and all of the races are on really. Automatic still open, although some people would say some decisive action this week. Top 6 definitely still possibilities there, particularly for that 6th place. And relegation, well, we all know one of the places has gone now. The other one looks very much like it's going to go very soon, but still a 3rd relegation spot up for grabs. So let's go from the top. Get your comments in the feed. I'll try and I'll answer questions if I spot them, and we'll do a load of questions at the end. So first up was Wigan 1, Norwich 1. I was there at the DW to witness this game. Check out my review elsewhere on the channel. I was there with 5,000 other, I'm not a Norwich supporter, that was a horrible slip of the tongue, 5,000 Canaries in that end behind the goal to witness this one. James gives Wigan the lead with a penalty late on in the first half. A Fark triple substitution on 75 minutes. Pukki gets the equaliser on 80 minutes, his 27th goal of the season for Teemu Pukki. Norwich, they've played 3 teams, be quite right, we've played 3 teams in the bottom 8, Norwich. Probably would have expected more than 5 points, but given that massive streak, all Norwich need to do is match Sheffield United or whoever is in 3rd position. So they've matched Sheffield United. They've only dropped 1 point to Leeds. They've ticked off 3 games. So even though a bit tense for Norwich behind to both Reading and Wigan this week, they're still doing what they need to do, and the games are dripping away. Norwich need 6 points to get promotion, and there is a scenario that if Nottingham Forest beat Sheffield United in the early game on Friday and Norwich win, they will be promoted on Friday. That will be a 10-point gap with 3 games to go. Obviously, if it goes the other way, then on we go, and it's even tighter there. Still, Emi Buendia, 1 game left. A lot of this conspiracy theory that Norwich aren't anywhere near as good without Buendia as they are. It keeps getting legs every time he doesn't play, and they don't win, although not really. It's been all about the team ethic and the strategy for Norwich rather than one player, but Buendia certainly makes a difference there. Wigan did really well, pressed well, stopped Norwich's fullbacks getting out, good game plan, exerted their physicality, particularly on Norwich left-back Jamal Lewis. Looked like they'd singled him out, so a tactic there by Paul Cook. And Reece James, just every time I see him, gets even better and better. I've seen him play at right back twice, and he was the best player on the pitch in both of the games. Central midfield, this guy is 19 years old, converted right back to central midfield, playing for a struggling championship team, basically as a deep line playmaker against the league leaders. What a player this guy is going to be in the future. Definitely one to keep an eye on there if you're an England fan, and who knows, he might even become a central midfielder after all of this. The Latics, Wigan still in it, 21st, 2-point gap still. Rotherham chasing hard. Wigan go away to Leeds, and then a Northwest derby against Preston. So yeah, interesting. Wigan may not be out of it there. Let's move on to the aforementioned Leeds, who out of the top 3 had the best week. They started out the week losing badly at Birmingham. I say losing badly, any defeat when you're in a title race at this promotion race, at this time of the season is bad. But also check out my review of that Birmingham game, must plug that. Ended as the best performer, 6 points. All those teams are kind of no 9-point weeks, no 7-point weeks there. Bit of a 1-0 batter in this one against Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds recorded 28 shots and 3 big chances. Hernandez, beautiful low cross by him, steered in by Harrison for the only goal of the game. Since that Chris Basham goal gave Sheffield United the win at Elland Road, again I was there for that one, it's been 9 points for Leeds, 5 points for Sheffield United. So that 1 point deficit is a 3-point advantage for Leeds. It's not all over yet though. Leeds off to Brentford, which can always be a tough game. And then that Titanic game against Aston Villa on the 28th. So if Blades can put pressure on them, a couple of not easy walkover fixtures there for Leeds. In terms of Wednesday, second defeat in 3, they can still mathematically reach the playoffs. 6 points off with 4 games to go, but off they go to Norwich and then Bristol City. They play in the next 2 games. So 8th to 12th, I think, Wednesday, considering where they were under Josh Lukai. I think they would be happy with that. Right, Sheffield United, Millwall. Goodness me, where do I start with this one? Sheffield United 1, Millwall 1. Right, let's go through this. 21 minutes, Chris Basham gets injured and Gary Medine replaces him. I know we've got some chatter. We don't know. We haven't heard officially about Basham, but he's been a great player for them. Even Blades fans would admit, not the most technical guy in the world, but his huge surges out of defence have been incredible for them. 51 minutes, Medine gives Blades the lead. Brilliant assist by Fleck on that one. Love that one. This means that the Blades in these 4 games since the international break, they've taken the lead in every single one of them and twice against Bristol City. 65 minutes, Billy Sharp off injured. Again, we don't know. I did see some Instagram posts, but I couldn't verify. We haven't got anything from the club as yet. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong about that. Billy Sharp's been a brilliant player for Sheffield United this season. On 70 minutes, on comes big Tom Elliott for Millwall. We all know what he's going to do and why he is there. 86, towering header from Elliott. John Egan, and we go into the moral maze with this one of, if you were in Egan's position, last minute, last game, throw out a hand to save it. Egan kind of jumps at it, throws his hand at the ball, red card. And I know there's a bit of a debate. I've read that this straight red is 3 games. So if that's the case, there's people telling me it's a 1-game ban. I've read that it's a 3-game ban. Scribe Beat says, what a save, to be fair. The thing I love about Egan there, though, is after he did it, he just kind of hid. He was like, God, I hope those Millwall fans and all the players haven't seen me do that. But yeah, handball, penalty. But because this is the Championship, Ben Marshall steps up and misses the penalty, obviously. But then 95th minute, and you could even hear this on the air gets sucked out of the stadium on the footage that I have watched. Elliott, big header, and Jake Cooper, it's just ridiculous. Ryan says denying a goal scoring opportunity, straight red, 3. I think it is 3. We'll check that one out. Everything I've read says that. I don't know the exact wording of it. Jake Cooper, yeah, heads in, 6th goal of the season. I think in all comps he's got something like 7 goals and 7 assists. He is the master of scoring from corners. Harry makes a good point. If it's your team doing it and they get away with it, the other team misses the pen and you survive with 10 men, you say, oh, you know, gamesmanship, he broke the rules, he took his punishment, the other team didn't take advantage. It is a moral one. Obviously, we had Suarez did that years ago against Ghana, didn't he? And I'm sure it's one that comes up a lot. But the Blades didn't get through it, even though it looked like they were going to. So A win for Sheffield United would have had them 1 point behind, but now it's 3 points behind. Ryan says Ben Marshall missing a penalty. You can tell he's on loan from Norwich. Yeah, Norwich players just cannot take penalties this season. Good thing that Timu Puki, I read today, has had 121 chances from open play or something. That's how many they've created. Little Crow says Cooper has been found out, double teamed by defenders for most of the season. Yes, and that's why Millwall have started. He's way away from the goal for most of them, looking to win the first header. But as soon as they bring Big Elliott into it, and obviously Egan wasn't around for that last corner, he's probably, other than Medine, but from a defensive point of view, he's probably Millwall's best header of the ball. So Blades 3 points behind. They've got a 3-goal advantage in the goal difference. That could kind of be evaporated. We will see. Very interesting now. So Egan out for about 3 games. I'm not going to speculate about the injuries. 3 weeks of the season left. Playoffs finish about 4.5 weeks. So from what we can see, being they're having scans and whatnot, we just don't know. Kamara Roof came back very, very fast. But we've seen Craney, Stearman, Stevens all go into that back 3. And they've got Scott Hogan there. That's why he's been brought in. So McGoldrick, Medine and Hogan will have to carry the weight up front, although Sharp, just in terms of pure brains and movement, probably the best in the league up front in terms of finding really good goal scoring chances. He's absolutely brilliant like that. Nobody else cry off. I know Che Adams is very good. I know Pookie's very good. I've just said that in terms of finding the positions, Sharp is fantastic. Flipping it over though, 5 points this week for Millwall. Best out of any of the bottom 9. They've shown really good fight. They've ticked off games against Leeds and West Brom in the last 4. Game in hand over all the others. 3 out of 4 at home, and then that big trip to Wigan on the last day. But they're only 2 points clear. Best difference of the bottom 6. We'll keep on going about this Wigan-Millwall game on the last day. If Rotherham are in touch with either or both of those, the last day is going to be very, very, very exciting. All going to go down to that one game, really. West Brom 4, Preston 1. Dwight Gale with a hat-trick in this one. Jay Rodriguez with the other. Those two have now both got 21 goals. 2 very, very good players there. You know my feelings on West Brom's overriding strategy this year. They've not actually been that good. And these 2 players, stick them in any team, even without a strategy, and this is the amount of goals you get. Superb from Gale and Rodriguez. Callum Robinson with a late one. Good to see him back in the goals because he'd had a long layoff since I think the end of November. That's his first goal back. So West Brom had 2 straight defeats. If all the gaps stay around the same distance, then they'll be confirmed as the first playoff participants either on Friday, or on Monday. In the background of this one though, West Brom heavily linked with Alex Neil. Well, Alex Neil signed a new contract with Preston for the next 3 years. So maybe that puts that one to bed, and we'll see, what West Brom go on and do. Manager, always remember Jukanovic still out there and available, promoted last season with Fulham. The horrible run continues for Preston. They had been on the verges of a playoff push. Long way back now, 8 points off in 12th place. So they're just going to need to be looking at the top half. Swansea 1 point off them with a game in hand, just 1 place below. On we go to this big game. Villa 2, Bristol City 1, and Villa are now easily the form team in the division, given even the top 3 have dropped some points in the last 3 games. Villa 8th straight victory, and the only team out of all 24 in the 3-game week. We either normally get 1 or 2 to win all 3 games. They took all 9 points this week. Goes without saying if they've won 8 on the trot. Abraham from the spot, he missed at Rotherham, but he steps up and put that one in. 24 for the season for Abraham. Hurahan with the second. Jeju with an overhead kick there. But Villa look good value looking at the stats. Jedinak covered Mings at the back. He was suspended. And Wow, Villa win without Jack Grealish. He'd returned and they'd been pretty bad before then. They win 7 on the trot. He was poorly on Friday, phoned in sick basically on Saturday morning, couldn't get down the stairs, and they still get the win. So the one-man team stuff has to go. Jake says, O'Leary, best goalkeeping performance I've seen at Villa Park. I think Villa had something like either 4 or 5 big chances in that one, so it could have been even bigger win. Villa, yes, as the comments say, go to Bolton next. Bolton are in disarray. Millwall before that showdown with Leeds. So they could, yes, get 10 on the trot. Ryan says, Villa teaches how to win without your star player. I think that's a Norwich fan talking about Buendia. David says, 42,000 at Villa Park. What does Leeds hold? 34, 35? Someone let me know in the feed. Huge attendance there up at Villa Park. Villa are 5 clear of 7th place Boro, 4 to go. Derby's game in hand is a bit of a nuisance. Thanks, Scribe, 37,000 at least. Derby's game in hand, bit of a nuisance for Villa. If that wasn't there, they'd be pretty much nailed on now, you would have thought, for the playoffs. But could be a little bit of a worry for Dean Smith there. Very, very little margin for error there. Bristol City have had a good run since the international break. They'll probably take it, and only 1 goal back, or as we say, the Bristol City goalie, bit of a hero in this one. 6th place, 1 point advantage over Boro. Game in hand on those that really matter. Derby also have the game in hand. So, that will make the chase even more interesting. Derby could still sneak in there, couldn't they? Boro 1, Hull 0. Boro doing their damnedest to confuse me. 6 defeats in a row, I thought, looked decisive, and then they win 2 in a row. And they're right back onto Bristol City. Sombalonga with the only goal in this one, 11 for the seasons, 2 wins and 2 clean sheets. Next couple of games, Stoke away. Well, they've not been scoring. Forest over Easter. Forest, we'll talk about in a minute, not in good form at all. Another couple of wins, slip-ups ahead of them, which is possible. Boro could find their way back in there after we thought they dropped off. Hull, little surge there, 3 on the trot, I think. As suspected, though, they're going to drop off now between here and the end of the season. 5 points off the playoffs with 4 to go. Tigers fans enjoying the final days of Jared Bowen, no doubt. West Brom and Sheffield United to come over the Easter weekends means I predict that further fall for Hull as they play out the rest of the season. Derby 4, Bolton 0. Derby are a curious team as well at the moment, aren't they? Very goal happy since the return of Mount. 13 in the last 4 games for Derby, and there was a shout-out in there. They've had a 6 and a 4 and a 3. Bryson gets the open, and then Mason Mount from midfield joins the hat-trick club this season, banging in 3 here against poor old Bolton. Derby are doing a fair job of keeping on the edges of the playoffs since they dropped out. They do have a game in hand, but the big issue obviously now is that Bristol City also do, and that's the team that they really do need to get one over. 7 points in the 4 games since Mount returned. That may or may not be enough. Looks like they need a win streak here. Away at Blues, QPR at home over Easter. Derby needs 6 or 4 points if that game in hand is actually going to mean anything. Bolton just in a sorry state since the HMRC stuff. 3 defeats in a row. Lose the next one, which is against Villa, who are on fire, and they are officially down. So it's nearly all over for Bolton down the bottom. Forest 1, Blackburn 2. So out the window goes. Derby's game in hand is against Swansea, Jake, I believe, not Bristol City. Bristol City's game in hand is against Millwall, and I think they're both in the final week of the season, because I will be at Millwall versus Bristol City, so really looking forward to that one. Anyway, Forest Blackburn, there goes my Forest are good at home and bad away narrative, because now Forest are bad at home as well after this one. Rothwell had a very good week, lovely dink against Derby, and a curler to open the scoring in this one. Graham adds a second, his 14th for the season. Bennett with an own goal there. Rovers take all 3 points. 3-game week for Forest, 3 defeats for Forest. So playoffs very, very unlikely at this stage. And looks just a bit disorganised there. Martin O'Neill changing the team most weeks here. And a lot of Sheffield United and Norwich fans here are interested because Forest go to Sheffield United this Friday with just frankly terrible away form. We talk about that last game of the season quandary at the end there, Jonathan, when we get to the end of the pod. But yeah, Blackburn back-to-back wins there, a bit all over the place form-wise. I'm really interested to see how Mowbray rides out this, it possibly going south after all that momentum from the promotion season. Rovers in 15, 4 points off the top half. Someone just said it is the championship after all. QPR 4, Swansea 0. Go figure that one. Where did that one come from? Swansea, 3 wins on the bounce, playing some lovely football. McBurney back in up front. Nice on the beach, carefree end of season stuff. And they lose 4-0 to managerless QPR, who hadn't even scored under John Eustace so far. So a bit of a surprise on this one. And some absolutely rank goals from a Swans defensive point of view. Rangers 3 up in 17 minutes. Furlong, 2 from Hemed. Luongo puts in the 4th during the second half. So Rangers are now 8 off the drop zone with 4 to play. So basically, if Rotherham lose and Rangers win on Friday, they are mathematically safe. Even a draw in that instance, goal difference makes it massively improbable. So QPR basically safe. Now Swansea down in 13th. They can mathematically still make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to. And they need to work on summer being nice and stable for Graham Potter. We saw Daniel Farker for Norwich try and set something up last season and was allowed to see it through this season. Well, if Swansea don't lose too many players and keep the strategy they're using, they could improve next season. But if the owners sell off, we know James is going to go probably to Leeds, but if they sell off all of the good players, then I would worry for Swansea particularly. Reading 2, Brentford 1. Reading are doing a really good job of getting out of this, aren't they? 2 for Maitai in the first 15 minutes, puts Brentford away. 11 for him this season. And I always say it, Reading have got some good finishers in there, exactly what Ipswich and Bolton have not had this season in terms of scoring goals. So 2 for Maitai. Mopai gets 1 back, 23 for the season from him, and a great week for Mopai. 3 games and he scored in every single one of them. Reading have picked up 7 points since the international break over 4 games, which is well the best out of the bottom 6. So 4 points above Rotherham, which is a game's cushion. They look good at the moment, but then you always just look ahead. They go to Bristol City and then they host West Brom. So no one would be surprised with 1 or 0 points from those 2, but they did go to Norwich and get a draw, Reading, and they certainly seem to be much better at picking up points than the other teams around them. Reading are underperforming with the players they have. Scribe says they're certainly underperforming for the wages they pay. They're right up there in terms of the percentage of wages against their income. That may just say that their income is low because, that stadium's very often empty. But, they're really doomed if they do go down financially. So they're going to want to stay in there. Brentford, 14th now, but only 1 win in 7. Probably regenerate again in the summer, so we'll see who comes in and out. Stoke 2, Rotherham 2. Dare I say I'm becoming a bit of a Rotherham fan towards the end of the season now. Brilliant fight back again from the Millers. They're just not going to go down without a fight, are they? Every time we think, right, that's Rotherham away, they'll lose the next couple and then they'll be adrift. No, back they come. They were 2-0 down. Vokes and Klukas, 27 and 29. And then Smith and Crooks in the second half rescuing the points. And from the highlights I saw, they could have gone for a winner there. Rotherham still 2 points away from Wigan and Millwall, who play on the final day. So if you're going into the final day now, you could have a scenario, Wigan and Millwall draw, Rotherham win, everyone finishes on the same amount of points. Rotherham are definitely going to want both of those teams to be still in it on that last day. So they just kill each other, trip each other up, what have you, fight it out up at the DW while Rotherham hopefully sneak past with, I suppose Rotherham would hope Boro would already be in the playoffs at that point if they can get back up in there. So many variables here. For the neutral, we kind of want Rotherham to keep the race going. But from just this financial point of view, I just think Rotherham have done such a great job against teams with 20 times more fans and money that they've been great this season. Swansea away and Birmingham at home over Easter. Well, Rotherham don't do very well away at home, so Birmingham have a small squad, might be starting to get tired. Maybe that's when they can target. Although what I will say is Rotherham's aerial attack. Birmingham do have Dean and Morrison, Jukovic to help back from the throw-ins. They're pretty good aerial side there, so maybe Swansea is a better one for Rotherham. They can beat up on them and try and stop them playing and get those throws and free kicks in there. So good luck to Rotherham, really. I know I'm supposed to be neutral here, but when I see a team with a £6 million wage bill competing with teams like Villa up the top there and Leeds with all their commercial revenues and their experienced manager, it's great stuff from Rotherham. And finally, Ipswich 1, Birmingham 1. Jukovic on 7, Edwards with the equaliser on 46, and Ipswich, my team, are relegated. Yeah, been coming a long, long while for Ipswich. Obviously, Paul Hurst in the summer. That experiment was very short-lived and they went back on it. Paul Lambert comes in with a not very good playing squad. All the best players from last season not there anymore, replaced by unproven League One players. No transfer window, some loans in the January could not do anything about it. And Ipswich are down, and it's probably been a fair few years in the making given the financial climate there. Ipswich, not much money coming in, the owner not doing a Reading and, bumping all the money away. David, yes, I will still be doing championship stuff. Thank you, Harry. I believe, Harry, you're a Leeds fan. Leeds have been down there. Bigger clubs than Ipswich have been down there. Forest have been down there. Wednesday have been down there. Sheffield United have been down there. So hopefully Ipswich, like all those great clubs, can come back and sort themselves out, really. But plenty of that. I'd advise you to the Blue Monday podcast. I wasn't on it this week, but Cammy says Sunderland too as well. Thanks, David. Birmingham, 5 points out of a tricky week for them, and they needed them. They're 6 points off relegation, 4 to go, 3 out of the bottom 6 in their last 4 games. Birmingham, very good front two, good team ethic there. They should be too good to go down, although that's been said many, many times before. Right, any questions in the feed I will take now, and then we'll talk about what we're doing over the weekend. I'll do a live stream on Thursday night as we go into the games on Friday and Monday, so we'll figure out what to do then. Obviously, if you've watched 28 minutes of a live stream, then presumably you've already subscribed. If you're new to it, please hit subscribe. As you can see, this is hopefully a quite sensible and balanced corner of the internet without football fans just kind of yelling and swearing at each other. We've got some great people in the feed here who give really, really good knowledge to these live streams. Obviously, follow me at Benjamin Bloom. White Hart Dane, Leeds and Bielsa should be able to attract decent players in the Premier League. Yeah, interesting. Villa versus Leeds, Ben, biggest game left. Predictions. Oh God, Grealish versus Hernandez in that one. My prediction for that game is it will be an absolutely brilliant game because I was at the other one that was 3-2 to Leeds. Incredible game. Ryan says, will Norwich secure promotion on Friday? I don't think they will on Friday. I think they might have to wait another game. I can't see Forest in their current state going away to Bramall Lane and winning. But we'll see how Egan is and how Sharp is. Hopefully that Villa Leeds game, Leeds Villa, I should be in attendance there if I can work the magic. Yet, Villa screams a hard Brexit draw. Who do I want to win the league? I want the best team to win the league. Obviously, it's very hard for me to come on here as an Ipswich fan and say, I want Norwich to win the league. I'm very impressed with Norwich. They've done a brilliant job, but I would get absolute pelted if I said I wanted that. The truth is, as someone said in the feed earlier, it doesn't matter whether you win the league or come second. The prize is exactly the same, and it's putting yourself in that elite tier of clubs that make a minimum of 100 million a year for a minimum of 1 year plus all your 80 million quid parachute money. That just puts you head and shoulders above. Apart from Ipswich, which team will I miss the most next season? If Millwall go down, I love my Millwall, but I don't think they will. I would miss all of Sheffield United, Norwich, Leeds, and Villa, to be fair, because I've got quite a lot of subscribers, and they do me quite well on here. But every single time you have to regenerate. You get the most viewers from the top teams, and then the top teams go away. So have I heard 7,000 plus Leeds fans coming or trying to come to Ipswich? Yeah, there's going to be plenty of Leeds fans. Lots of Ipswich fans apparently. You're going to get banned if you buy a Leeds fan a ticket. So town's going to be full of Leeds fans there. Sandra, do I think Blades will go up? I think Leeds are playing well, and I think Sheffield United are having a moment, aren't they? They can still do it in the playoffs. I'd make Leeds favourites, obviously, at the moment. Even when they were at Birmingham, Leeds still created 3 big chances for their number 9, and he missed all of them. So there's the interesting one. A theory that if Leeds had Pookie or Sharp all season, and at 24, Abraham, Adams, whoever, they may not be where they are right now. They've needed to create a fair amount of chances to score goals this season, whereas the quality of chances that Norwich and Sheffield United have created. Most likely playoff final. God. Most likely playoff final. So we're going to get West Brom in there. We're probably going to get Villa. At the moment, we're getting Sheffield United. Derby might get in over Bristol City. You think Villa would be able to get to the final, but what if it's Villa West Brom? Who knows? It's going to be a really, really tough one to call that, because Villa have Grealish and they're on an amazing run, but West Brom have really, really good players. So, there we go. Who's my favourite Championship player to watch? Get asked that one a few times. Pablo Hernandez has done the best performance I've seen this season. I love to watch Grealish, just his balance and his dribbling. So those two, I do love a good attacking midfielder. Although some of the playmakers as well, Phillips, Leitner, I saw a little bit on Sunday. Norwood, with his range of passing, has been absolutely brilliant. And obviously I love seeing Jake Cooper beat everyone up and smash 7 headers in every game. Who's worse, Bolton or Ipswich? That's a good question. Obviously on paper Ipswich are worse than Bolton, but Bolton are kind of in a worse state generally as a club. So although Ipswich are going to finish bottom. So Villa stay down, fire sale in the summer, Grealish to Leeds. Well, Villa are going to have to do something about the FFP, aren't they? So we'll see if they have to sell some assets there. Do I think Ipswich will go back up? Hopefully. Who knows what the owner's going to spend. Try and see a game at every single stadium next year. I have seen one at every single stadium this year. Norwood or Leitner? That's a good question. Norwood is given a different job than Leitner. Obviously, Norwich don't indulge a player to play long balls and switch play and that type of thing. Leitner, you see playing lovely balls around the corner. I tell you, Leitner would be good for Leeds in the position that Phillips played. I'm not saying Phillips can't do it, but if you remember the Gerrard Lampard debate, Gerrard would get to spray balls all over the place. So I like watching Norwood, but in terms of a team player, we'll see. James or Lewis? Which Lewis? Jamal Lewis. I don't know which one he's referring to there. Right, that will probably be it for the stream now. And thank you for all the questions. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As I say, I'll be back with a preview stream on Thursday. And hopefully catch a few or a lot of you then. I really, really appreciate everyone joining in. I wouldn't be worth it if you weren't there. Am I going to any playoff finals? Yeah, many as possible.